ግን እንትን ይሄኛው አሁን ዌብሳይቱ ነው የሚያሳይሽ እኮ ትዊተር። አዎ
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening from those joining from East Africa. I'm happy to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining us for Nile Science Wednesday. I would encourage every one of us to mute your microphone unless you're speaking. We're going to be starting shortly. Once again, welcome for Nile Science Wednesday. This is the 22nd session, and we are proud to have all of you here. Like I said, kindly feel free to introduce yourself. And my name is Deli Sive. I work at Infonile as the communications officer. And Infonile is a flagship project of Water Journalists Africa, where we cover stories on water and the environment in the Nile Basin. Maybe just a small reminder, we started Nile Science Wednesday in an effort to bridge the gap between journalists and scientists in the Nile Basin. Science Wednesday, we also came. Am I clear, Prince?
You're breaking a bit.
Okay. Just let me change my source of internet. Sorry. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome for Nile Science Wednesday.
Good afternoon, delegates.
I had just done an introduction of course, myself and the organization, and I was now getting into introduction of this Nile Science Wednesday, which we started with an effort to bridge the gap between journalists and scientists in the Nile Basin. And it was from the Nile platform that we also came up with the Nile co-production program, which my colleague Primrose is going to be taking us through. Today, we are fortunate enough to be hosting a team from Ethiopia. This is Mr. Fikadu Erenso and Tewodros Kasa. We are fortunate to have worked with Tewodros previously in a different project, and we are happy also to work with him on this particular project. I will now briefly introduce my colleague Primrose. Kindly let us know more about the Nile co-production program and why we are having the two wonderful gentlemen from Ethiopia. The floor is yours, Prim.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Natkunda Primrose Diana, and I serve at Infonel as the Programs Officer. And I've had the privilege of coordinating the Nile Whale Science Journalist Co-Production Program for the last 2 years. Like you've heard, the co-production program was birthed under the Nile Whale platform, which is a platform that we launched with a goal of promoting science-based journalism by facilitating collaboration between scientists and journalists. The NEWEL Co-Production Fellowship has been going on for over 2 years, and we launched it in 2023, where we had our first cohort. And the first cohort was in 2023, and the second cohort was in 2024. So basically, what we do is we put out a call for applications, and we are targeting scientists who are in the disciplines of water, biodiversity, and generally the environment, as well as climate change, and as well as journalists who also are in the areas of the same disciplines, that is water, biodiversity, and climate change as well. And they go through. So we have an inception workshop. We have an inception workshop where we get to take them. Okay, before that, we usually are targeting journalists and scientists who are from the Nile Basin countries. For those that are not familiar with the Nile Basin countries, we have Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Ethiopia, Egypt, South Sudan, and Sudan. So we get to have a pair from each of those countries, and we have a scientist, and then we have a journalist as well. So we get to have an inception workshop where we get to take them through the foundations of science communication around the areas of science communication, videography, photography, use of data visualizations, and generally scientists and journalists getting to learn what scientists go through while they're producing their research, and journalists getting to know how scientists do their thing as well. So after that workshop, we usually have online trainings for the next, I think like the next 6 months, where we take them through a number of skills. And then at the end of it all, they get to produce communication outputs that range from print stories, podcasts, documentaries, and the likes, and they do this collaboratively as they're working together. One of the objectives for this program, first of all, was to enhance the skills around science communication. Most of the science communication skills that we use to put out this science is photography, videography, use of data visualization to simplify data that is found in this research, and then we also were looking at trying to try to bridge the gap, because usually scientists do not trust journalists with information they put out there. So we wanted to enhance their relationship, because there's a lot of mistrust between the two parties. And then also we noticed that journalists who are science journalists or environmental journalists usually lack the research. They don't have access to this research. So why not work with a scientist and then get direct access to this research, and then be able to report exactly what is in the research. So we also wanted to do that as well as a result of the program. And of course, the ultimate outcome that we wanted to get from this co-production was that the public would get access to this science as it's put out there, and of course, be able to understand be able to understand the research that is done by scientists in an understandable way, and in a familiar way that people get to understand. So the major outcome that we would like to see is that this science is out there in the newspaper, it is out there on different platforms, and people would get to know what this research is about. So like I'd said, we had two cohorts. One cohort which was done in 2023, and then we started another cohort in 2024, and Team Ethiopia was the first team that completed their deliverables. So they are the first to be hosted today, and they'll be talking about their story that they did based on Mr. Fikadu's research. So that is what we shall be listening to today, and I hope you can learn one thing or two. Thank you, Deli.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Primrose, and thank you for the wonderful introduction on what this program entails. So maybe just a brief of what the the session today will entail. Like she has told you, this is the team Ethiopia, and it is based on the different communication co-production outputs that they came up with. On the current one that we are sharing today, maybe Prim, you can share the link on the chat box. It is on Ethiopia's endemic plants on the brink. And this story is about the country's unique medicinal plants and that heal people and also heal not only people but also animals. And now these plants are facing extinction. So in this session, you're going to discover the state of Ethiopia's endemic plants and why this matters for biodiversity. Like Primrose has told you, one of our core areas is biodiversity, climate change, etc., etc. So we're going to explore why this matters for biodiversity, for health, for traditional medicine, and how conservation efforts are being taken on the ground, as well as actions by both NGOs, governments, and even the communities can take. So we have the people that were behind this co-production output in the form of a story, and this is Mr. Fikadu and Mr. Fikadu and Tewodros Kasa. So just to let you know, that as we are going to go with this session, for those who are joining us, kindly mute your microphone, type in your questions. You can also use the raise hand emoji in case you'd want to ask a question. A brief bio of who Mr. Fikadu is. Mr. Fikadu is, his name is Fikadu Erenso. He's a researcher in botanical science at Kulele Botanical Garden, and he's currently pursuing his PhD at Addis Ababa University. His research mainly focuses on plant biology and biodiversity management and has published widely, collaborating with international journals. He's currently now a fellow of the Nile Journalist Scientist Co-Production Program, and outside his regular work as a scientist, he enjoys community outreach and promoting the right plant selection for the right place in urban greening initiatives. Mr. Fikadu, maybe you could just say hi before we start.
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome for this program.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Fikadu. And just to let you know that out of Mr. Fikadu's research, that Tewodros Kasa wrote his story, of course, with guidance from Mr. Fikadu. And like Primrose said, they worked together over a period of about 8 to 9 months. So Tewodros Kasa is a seasoned Ethiopian journalist and an assistant editor at the Ethiopian Herald, which is part of the Ethiopian Press Agency. He has over 8 years of experience, and his reporting spans a wide range of topics, including health, climate change, science, business, politics, and societal issues. He has a bachelor in journalism and communications from Addis Ababa University, and he's currently pursuing his master's in diplomacy and international relations. In his work, he emphasizes human interest storytelling and making complex information accessible, particularly in environmental health journalism, where he aims to address informational gaps and empower communities to make healthier decisions. Good afternoon, Tewodros. Maybe you could just say hi. We'd like to hear your voice before we start.
Okay, thank you, Billy, for introducing me. Say hi.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Tewodros. So to start us off is Mr. Fikadu Erenso. Mr. Fikadu, the floor is yours. Please let us know how you went about this research, what provoked you to actually do this research, your findings, and basically that, and probably your recommendations if you have any. And you can also briefly tell us how you went about your collaboration with Tewodros. Welcome, Mr. Fikadu.
Okay, thank you, Dale, for giving me this opportunity.
Tewodros, kindly mute.
Okay, do you hear me, all of you?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we get
Yes,
you.
we can. Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone for this section. I'm Fikadu. I'm going to present on climate change threatened endemic plant in the eastern Afro-montane rainforest of Ethiopia. The case of Verpris danieli. That is the specific plant species that I wanted to elaborate more. Yeah, thank you, Asbel. Introduced me. I am working in Gulali Botanical Garden as a researcher. And maybe my education background is I did my BSc in biology at Dilla University, my MSc in botanical science in the same university, and also additional MSc in tropical biodiversity and ecosystem at ULB, VUB, or University of Liberty, Brussels, Belgium. Currently, as she said before, I'm a PhD fellow at Addis Ababa University, Ethiopia, and also University of Oslo, Norway. So I am actually working on more passionate working on forest biodiversity and also plant biology. So as introduction, what I've said before, I'm talking about the endemic plant species of Ethiopia. As you know, Ethiopia has a wide variation in altitude, which ranges from 125 meters below sea level to a high peak over 4,563 meters above sea level. So the country also falls within two biodiversity hotspots. As you see on this map, Ethiopia falls on two biodiversity hotspots. The first one is the Eastern Afro-Montany, which is the second light green one, and also the Horn African biodiversity hotspot. So this make Ethiopia is a home for numerous endemic plant species. Especially we have around 6,500 plant species. Among those, around 600 of them are endemic. So among these endemic 600 endemic plant species, Vaporous danieli belongs to the Rutaceae family, is endemic to Ethiopia. It also flourishes in restricted habitats. So it grows particularly within the lowland altitude, which ranges from 1,050 to 2,500 meters above sea level. And so it is also locally useful. The fruits are collected, the ripe one, and the sold on the markets. It's also used as an additive to coffee. You know, coffee Arabica, the one used everywhere. So the local people use this fruit as additive to coffee, and also the wood used for firewood, timber, farm tools, and it has also a medicinal uses by treating
Mr. Fikadu,
bacteria. Yes.
excuse me, we are no longer able to see your presentation.
Oh, you don't see?
Yeah,
I can
I
actually
think you
see it.
stopped sharing.
I
You
can
can see
see
it?
it, Delhi.
Oh, I can actually see
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, I can see
Okay,
it.
sorry. You can proceed.
Okay. Okay. Uh, maybe if you have problem, I can follow the right hand or maybe chat to me. So this plant also used as a medicinal value, like treating bacterial infection, stomach, malaria. So there is a lot of evidence, and that means research evidence that over harvesting of mature fruits from this plant, which produce the regeneration of the plant as well. So the impact of climate change on this plant species is like the recent systematic review find that endemic plant species in general in Ethiopia are under threatened from climate change induced land conservation as well as grazing, fuelwood or timber production, crop land expansion, And so the climate change also expect to shift the habitat suitability of this plant. If the current suitable range moves upward or to cooler water microhabitat, the population of this plant species going to be lower, especially those found in lower elevation may going to be lost their habitat. As climate change lead to also change in seasonal rainfall or less precipitation in dry period, more variability or possibly longer dry season, this plant species being in montane forest, so it get suffer from moisture stress. So increased heat stress on the adult trees also change the growth of the plant. So to better understand the exact impact of climate change on this plant species, this study aims to project its future distribution under varying climate change scenario and a comparison model that highlight potential suitable habitats. So for this research, we collect data, the species occurrence record, uh, from field survey. We get from one region around 6 occurrence points. From National Herbarium of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa University, we get around 14 occurrence points. From Global Biodiversity Information Facility or GBIF, we get 34 records. In general, we get 54 occurrence points. For environmental variables, we use the bioclimate variable from World Climate. And for the projected climate scenario, we do this one, like it's the projected bioclimate scenario for 2041 to 2060, and for 2060 to 2080. So environmental variables selection as maybe the bioclimate has 19 bioclimate variables. So from those 19 environmental variables, the variance inflation factors was calculated for the bioclimate variable to identify sorry, okay, to identify any higher correlation among those 19 bioclimate variables and to enhance the model suitability and the prediction accuracy in RD software. So systematically, all variables were eliminated with their VIF value or the environmental variable selection, and only 19 bioclimate variables were retained for species distribution model of Vapres Danieli. All those lists from BAO 3, BAO 4, BAO 7, BAO 9, BAO 13, 14, 15, 18, and 19 are those used for a final analysis. And also we make the model evaluation. On this one, I try to evaluate 4 major models by SDM in performance. That means per species using test data set or generating using partition. So from this model evaluation, we have the AUC or high value of AUC was selected. That one is Maxent, which get 0.95 AUC, and also the TS value. So the variable importance chart indicates the distribution of Vapres Danieli was shown to be mostly affected by Bowel 18 or precipitation of the warmest quarter, temperature seasonality, precipitation of the driest months, and precipitation of seasonality. And the others also have this impact. So when we try to see the suitability classification, which was done by 5 classes of suitability, this one is said to be the current one that predict habitat suitability classification of this species. That means 1972 to 1000 climate scenario. So the high or deep green one indicate high suitability areas in Ethiopia, especially the southern West Ethiopia is indicated on this map. So when we try to map the or predicted habitat suitability classification of Vaporis Valley under projected future climate change scenario for 2050, 2070 on both a climate change scenario, it has still it's found on the southwestern parts of Ethiopia, but the area is more reduced. To get how the area is shrink, here we have the value indicating or the area that calculated in kilometers square for the current one for the future both climatic scenario. So the model revealed a concerning trend of decreasing suitable habitat for biodiversity under both projected the future climate scenario. So certain bioclimate variables are very significant influencing habitat suitability, particularly those related to precipitation and temperature seasonality. So the way forward to save the treatment or climate change treating these endemic plant species is sustainable management strategies. That means especially over harvesting, community engagement in conservation activity and management, collaborative approach like this, and also focused research and monitoring is very important. This is all. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Fikadu. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions after. It was really interesting to learn about that. Tewodros, please let us know how you were able to how you were informed by this research to do your story.
Thank you, Daily. Mr. Ficado has immensely explained the story about Ethiopian endemic plants conservation. So he contributed a lot to produce this story and immensely help us to research about Ethiopian endemic plants, especially medicinal plants. So his contribution is a lot, and we can share the story as we see our story. It's immensely explained about the Ethiopian plants that are being intended and their Brink. So I will share my story and we'll discuss this session.
Tewodros, we can hear a couple of voices behind you. Kindly request them to allow you some 10-15 minutes during your presentation, otherwise we can't hear you. And then also kindly speak up. Yeah, so you could maybe just share your presentation, then remember to speak up so everyone can get you. Are you ready to start, Teodros?
Yes, yes, yes. So are you
Okay.
hearing me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Are you able to put it on full screen?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
Our story is about killing nature, killing people, and Ethiopia's endemic plants on the brink. And, as we know, Ethiopia's forests, especially Ethiopian endemic plants, are the most valuable assets of the country, and it embraces the country's wide forest coverage in some parts of the country. So currently they are under threat, and as the reports of International Union for Conservation of Nature, there are numerous endemic plants that are under threat. According to this report, the IUCN report, there are more than 17 endemic plants that are under threat in Ethiopia. This is the most challenging situation in the Ethiopian forest coverage improvement. So let us discuss about what is the danger of the situation regarding the endemic medicinal progress. As we know, Ethiopia is home to a rich variety of medicinal plants that have been used for centuries to help both people and the environment. However, many of these precious plants are facing extinction due to various issues and various challenges. We are going to discuss about today. In doing so, there are more than 17 red list plant species that are being conserved at the Buledi Botanic Garden with careful contribution of the researchers like Ricardo and other colleagues, botanical experts at the Buledi Botanic Garden. So they are bring
Teodros,
together.
I'm,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt once again. Considering your voice
Are
is
you
not
hearing
very loud and there are people speaking in the background, we can hardly hear you. We're actually straining.
me?
Please ask them to. It's only 15 minutes of your presentation time. If they could allow you, please. And then we request that you speak up
Maybe
kindly. You can maybe reach out to them. Then, in the meantime, I could be asking Mr. Fikadu a couple of questions. Mr. Fikadu, are you able to take up a few questions as we wait for Teodros?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Fikadu, we've heard from your research, very insightful. Based on your research, could you please walk us through some of the most urgent threats to Ethiopia's endemic medicinal plants? Which ones are the greatest in danger and why?
Okay. Yeah, I can tell you a lot of plant species. Actually, as I have said, we have around 600 endemic plant species. Those can use, especially more than 27% of them are used as a medicinal. Among those, if I told you like the plant species that I try to present today, Bapris danieli is uh, uh, it is used for medicinal purpose. The fruits. It is also used as additive in coffee. So there is a lot of over exploitation of these rated fruits that reduce its regeneration. The other thing I can tell you, like Echinopsika baricho, it is also a medicinal plant species which is treated on the also found on red list as a vulnerable one. So it's also used as a medicinal. That means the root part is used for medicinal purpose. So always people exploit it for medicinal value behind the effect of climate change. So over exploitation reduce the plant regeneration and the population of the plant because they are using the root part. So exploitation, especially over exploitation, reduce and treating the most of the endemic plant species. And also uh, some like root, I can say Tavernaria abyssinica, which is really very important one. Now even we lost the plant species from its natural habitat, even for conservation, because people use its root part for medicinal purpose. And the wall or the mature tree, you can't find its own natural habitat. So even for conservation, we lost it from its natural habitat. So over exploitation, especially treating those very important endemic plant species in Ethiopia. That is why
Okay,
actually
so
I try to focus on one for to identify and elaborate more the effect of climate change, because each of those found in different agroecological zones.
okay, thank you very much for that. Anyone who has a question to directed to Mr. Fikadu, feel free to type them in the question. I'm not sure whether Teodros is ready. Teodros, are you ready? Are you confirming that your background is quiet? We can hear someone talking.
Some people are living in your office. I will try in 10 minutes, after 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, maybe just put your mic closer to your mouth.
Okay,
Yeah,
now
so we
about
can
it?
hear what you're saying. Yeah, okay,
Okay.
okay. So you can carry on. Thank you, Mr. Fikadu, for stepping in. Teodros, you can carry on. Maybe just start from the first slide because we hardly heard what you said.
So, continue. There are a lot of red list plant species in Ethiopia, which are endemic to the country. So, to mention some of the plants that are under threat, this includes the Reus gluticina, Koshishida, Gra, Berbera, and Chipu are among the endemic plants that are under threat in Ethiopia. And to do conservation activities are being held in already botanic garden to restore these basic important medicinal plants in Ethiopia. So they are being put efforts in already botanic garden. Regarding the health and conservation activities on the endemic plants, the diversity of endemic plants, Ethiopia embraces more than 6,000 endemic plants that are endemic to the country and important to the country. They are numerous in number, but they are threatened due to climate change, urbanization, and increased practice of farmland clearing. They are in the face of threats. On the other hand, the healing properties of endemic plants are very significant regarding medicinal applications. More of the endemic plants are requiring urgent need for conservation. So it's time to improve conservation practice, and it's high time to conserve these valuable resources. Moreover, the endemic plants are unique biodiversity assets to the country. Ethiopia have more than 6,000 plant species with more than 1,000 endemic to the country. They are very significant to the medicinal application and cultural significance in the country. They are very impressive, and they are used in rituals and traditional practices. And moreover, numerous endemic plants are recognized for therapeutic values and treating various elements, especially in humans and animals diseases. Regarding threats to plant diversity faces several threats from human activities, environmental changes. In addition to this, the challenges are very wide and rich for plant life in our planet. So regarding habitat destruction, the rapid urbanization, deforestation, agricultural expansion threaten native species of the country. In addition to this, climate change impacts. Changing climate change patterns disrupt the plant ecosystem and risk survival of specialized species of the country. In addition to this, the over-harvesting of endemic plants faces several challenges to the traditional healers in the country to access the endemic plants for medication purpose. In addition to this importance of conservation, the ecosystem health is ensured when the endemic plants are conserved, right? So conservation of endemic plants is critical for maintaining ecosystem balance and health. By doing this, the cultural heritage of the country will be conserved for the next generation, and this protecting these plants ensures the preservation of cultural knowledge and practices. Regarding the medicinal values of the endemic plants, many undiscovered compounds in endemic plants hold potential for pharmaceutical purpose. So in the future, researching and developing these endemic plants is important for pharmaceutical development potential in the country. The other is about community involvement regarding conservation activities. Local stewardship is important to engage local communities in conservation efforts, to empower them in managing resources sustainably and actively participating in protecting the environment. In doing so, education and outreach is very important, and raising awareness about the endemic plants is important for community conservation activities in the future. More importantly, sustainable practices is also important to conserve Ethiopia's endemic plants in the future. So promoting sustainable harvesting system and usage of plants ensures communities that can continue to benefit from their medicinal properties without endangering them in the future. Innovative solution for conservation involves botanical researches. That means conducting more botanical studies will help to the conservation of medicinal potential and uses endemic plants. So leading a better conservation strategies in public solutions requires ethnobotanical researches conduct massively ethnobotanical researches. So in addition to this, protecting areas of restoration is also important to conserve endemic plants in the country. Establishing protected areas, restoring degraded habitats can create refuges for endemic plants and allowing them to thrive and recover from threats that are currently present. So partnership of conservation is important with local NGOs and government bodies. In addition to this, international organization promotes enhancing conservation activities in focus from the endemic plants conservation. More importantly, the call to action, regarding call to action for conservation, support for conservation efforts, encourage support for local and international conservation initiatives aimed at protecting endemic plants is very important. Regarding endemic plants, promoting sustainable practices is also important for advocating legislation and promoting sustainable harvesting and encouraging the use of endemic plants in medicine practice, responsible use of endemic plants in medicinal application. In addition to this, engaging massive awareness campaigns is also important to participating campaigns and raising awareness about the importance of endemic plants through ensuring health environments and fostering healthy biodiversity in the country. So the culture of sustainability will be ensured when there is massive engagement in awareness campaigns. Regarding the endemic plants, to say the final what is natural treasure, they are very important natural treasure to the country as they are endemic to that country, and they are most valuable resources for health and the environment. So They are the very endemic plants are very important natural habitats and input for natural medicinal application. So they are the natural treasure of the country. In addition to this, they are also important actors in the health in the environment. They are an integral part of both health of the people and the environment. So they connect the people with the environment, and so they build a healthy environment in the country. So collective action is also important to the protection of endemic plants in the country through massive agroecology efforts. So it's important to do that the conservation efforts of Ethiopian endemic plants, as there are numerous challenges facing in the country regarding the urbanization, industrialization, overgrazing and overharvesting in different parts of the country, as well as the farming activities expansion is also facing its own impact on the endemic plants. As there is a rapid population growth and urbanization, they are facing challenges. So, moreover, the country's current forest coverage is 27.6%, as the report of Ethiopian Forest Development Institute. So, regarding this, improvements are seen in Green Legacy Initiative, when massive plantation of over 40 billion plantations, seedlings are taking place, starting from 2019. This forest coverage is improving through time. It's a remedy for the country's endemic plants conservation. I think it's a great potential. So, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tewodros. We struggle quite a bit to get to hear what you're saying, but what I drew from your presentation is a call to action for conservation, highlighting the specific support conservation efforts and the sustainable practices that could be done and the need for engagement in awareness campaigns. Thank you so much for that, Tewodros. I have two questions for you, considering probably your background is not so clear. I hope we can be able to hear you on that. The first question would be, considering this was a pair that was already given to you in the co-production program, could you please let us know why exactly, or rather what moment made you realize that this piece actually really needed to be told? Why didn't you ask Mr. Fikaro that you wanted to work on a different research? And I'm sure he's done a couple of others and he would have given you another research to work on. So my question is, what moment, or rather at what point exactly struck you and you actually realized that this was worth reporting?
Maybe Fikaro is expensive in the sector regarding
Sorry?
endemic plants. I think Fikaro is mostly involved in endemic plants conservation activities regarding the Bulari Botanical Garden. He has been partnering with experts there, and he was working on endemic plants conservation activities, especially he was researching about endemic plants in the forest areas of the countries. So he has been engaged in doing that. So I prefer doing and collaborate to work on the endemic plants conservation activities of the countries. Endemic plants conservation. So I think this is important story, and it's important to talk about to conserve the country's precious resources, like the endemic plants that are valuable for the generation that's come.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So maybe the other question would be, did you, I'm sure you probably went through the research first before you went to the field. Did you encounter any surprises or maybe something you did not expect when you started reporting, and how did that change your approach in the course of your reporting?
maybe the conservation activities that are being held in already botanical garden is very impressive, and the researchers there are doing a great work for the conservation of endemic plants. So when I see the conservation of the endemic plants being grouped in species and in different sectors that are mostly threatened and under the International Union for Conservation of Nature red list. So they are grouped and they are conserving it, they are protecting the endemic plants to be utilized for traditional healers, and they are available easily accessible for the traditional healers. So the traditional healers are very accessible with Gulali Botanical Garden. They partner with botanical garden for to find their need for the healing purpose for the public. So it's important, and it was impressive, the field work in Gulali Botanical Garden.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Tewodros. I think the rest of the questions I wanted to ask, I'll directly to Mr. Fikadu. Anyone else who has a question directed to Tewodros, feel free to type it in the chat box. Mr. Fikadu, my question goes, how are the local communities, the traditional healers, and scientific institutions involved in these conservation practices? And are you able to highlight some of the challenges they are facing in the course of their conservation activities?
Okay, thank you for really a nice question. Actually, yeah, for the conservation of those important endemic plant species, local people, especially those also traditional medicinal collectors, are nowadays work with in collaboration to Gulale Botanical Garden. But before like a couple of years, there was no collaboration with those traditional healers. So at that times, we don't know which really they prefer for medicinal purposes. But some literature could say a lot. Or, sorry, Theodorus, can you move it? Okay, thank you. Uh, so nowadays we got information from them, and we are also work collaborated with those traditional healers, and uh, nowadays they start collecting and bringing those important endemic plant species and planting in Gulale Botanic Garden. That is really very important one we are trying to achieve, because if like we get the name of plant species on flora, and when we went on the field to collect it from its natural habitat, sometimes we lost that place, like it's also converted to farmland or village. So that was challenge, but working in collaboration with local people is very important. That is really what we now get a value on working for the conservation of important endemic plant species in Ethiopia.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Fikadu. Quickly going to go to the questions sent in by the rest of the audience. Please feel free to type in. Mr. Fikadu, based on the research you have done, your collaboration with Mr. Tewodros, and even coming up with the different co-production outputs, I understand you did this story. You also did a YouTube video and a couple of social media posts based on this. I'd just like to know, what are some of the policy investment changes that you're looking forward to having to accelerate the protection and the restoration of these endemic plants?
Okay, thank you so much for the important question again. Actually, as I have said before, in addition to climate change effects and natural habitat conversion to farmland or urban areas, there is over harvesting of those important plant species is common in different places. Making awareness, education a lot is important, but making legal collection of those important in the endemic plant species as a policy is very important to conserve those important plant species as a whole.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So, do you have a specific policy that you think should be promoted?
Not yet before. Actually, there is a lot of policies on the shelf, but not applicable at all in different local, especially those important plant species found like in specific region, specific place, and also in specific ecosystem. So it's not applicable at all in different parts of the country actually.
Okay, thank you. So the other question goes to Tewodros. Tewodros, how are you able to balance the scientific complexity of this research and the cultural perspectives of the people in this area? Did you hear
Yes,
me clearly, Tewodros?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. I think the scientific and the cultural differences between the community. Most importantly, I think the traditional leaders said that most of the people use endemic plants or traditional healers medicines to treat some diseases in the country, especially in the rural, remote areas, to utilize these endemic plants. So most people are using, especially 60 up to 70% of the country's population uses directly or indirectly traditional medicinal healers to utilize to treat different diseases. So in accessibility of modern medication is highly the leading factor to use Ethiopian traditional healers. In addition to this, in the urban areas also people are using traditional healers to treat disease. That is, there may be some imbalance or some differences in opinions that are not using the traditional healers. Most people prefer to use the modern medication. However, the people that located in the remote areas are using traditional healers because they are not able to travel to the modern cities and urban areas to access medication from the hospitals and health centers. So the main point here is the access of the modern medication in the country.
Okay. Thank you so much, Theodros. I'm going to quickly go to the questions on the chat box. Corlick says, what are the health benefits of the medicinal plants? I think this question is directed to Mr. Fikadu. What are the health benefits of the medicinal plants? What are the nutritional values of that plant? Mr. Fikadu?
Yes, thank you. The medicinal value, that means the plant that used to treat. The plant that I present today is used to treat um, even bacterial infection, stomach ache, and also the local people used to treat malaria, the leaf part, and it is ripen fruit part. So this is the one that is used for medicinal value. In addition to, they use it as an additive in coffee. You know, coffee, maybe the plant that I present, exactly the fruit looks like coffee fruits. It is fruits that looks like the same as coffee, and that they also use as an additive in coffee. And so that is why I have said it is fruit exploitation or over harvesting treating the plant. Really, they like it. Last time I went on field during the time when this plant is ripening, this fruit ripening. So I saw on markets, I saw when people are harvesting from its natural habitat. So ideally they are using it.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Is there anyone else with a question directed to Mr. Ficado? We are just about to go to the Q&A session, but I would like not want to lock anyone out. Anyone with a question directed to Mr. Ficado, please feel free to raise your hand and mute your microphone and ask your question. Or even Mr. Tewodros, any question directed to Tewodros? Okay, thank you so much, Myra. And thank you for sparing time to join us from the US. We really appreciate the sacrifice. I know it's quite early right now where you are. Yeah, so
Thank you.
I will hand, okay, welcome. I will hand over the program to Primrose. Primrose, please take us through the Q&A section of the program.
Thank you so much, Deli, and thank you so much to Teodros and Mr. Fikadu for the session. Well done. We have a couple of questions, about 5 questions for our trivial session, and please feel free to type the answers in the chat. Deli will help me see who is the first to get the answer correct, and we can pick our winner today. The first question, just a second. Of the 8 biodiversity hotspots found in Africa, which ones does Ethiopia belong to? Of the 8 biodiversity hotspots found in Africa, which ones does Ethiopia belong to?
Do you have multiple choice or they have to say it themselves?
They have
Okay.
So
No,
Mr. Fikadu and Teodros, you don't get to participate in the yeah for the
Mr.
participants,
Picado
the
and
audience.
Teodros do not. Yes.
Yes. Do we have anyone in the chat?
Someone says
Okay.
Horn of Africa. Someone is saying Horn
Carol
of
says
Africa.
Horn
Is
of
that?
Africa. There are 2 of them, so I want 2 answers. Carol says Horn of Africa. Do we close that, Delhi?
what is the correct answer?
So
Give
Ethiopia
people 2
belongs
more
to
seconds.
2 of the. Pardon?
2 more seconds. Give people 2
Okay.
more seconds. Now there you are.
All right.
Kevin has come through.
Okay.
So what is the correct answer, Primrose? Were they required to give both correct answers or just one?
Yes, they were supposed to give 2 because it belongs to 2 biodiversity. So there are 8 biodiversity hotspots in Africa, and Ethiopia only belongs to 2 of them, which is the Horn of Africa and the East African Afromante hotspot. So I see Carol gave Horn of Africa, and
Both.
then
She
Kevin
gave both.
Olo gave East African Afromante biodiversity hotspot. Oh, she gave both.
Yes, she gave both.
Oh, then she takes it. Thank you, Carol. Next question. From Pikadu's presentation, mention at least 3 major threats facing Ethiopia's endemic plant species. Mention at least 3 major threats facing Ethiopia's endemic plant species. Specifically from Mr. Fikadu's presentation.
One more time, Prim.
Mention at least 3 major threats facing Ethiopia's endemic plant species.
Caroline has come through.
Okay. Climate change, harvesting stress. Okay. Do I go to the answers?
Kevin Omolo is coming through.
Mm,
No, you need all the three at once, right?
yeah, I need 3 at once.
Okay. What is the correct answer?
Okay, let me see. Colleague has also given
Annunciata
it.
is there.
All right. So he mentioned about 4, but I'd say at least 3. So one of them is climate change induced land conversion. Then the second is grazing. And then the third one is fuel, wood, and timber production. And then the last one is cropland expansion. But I'd mentioned you could mention at least 3. So did anyone get?
You can see we had a mixture of answers, so Mr. Fikadu
The
can
nearest one.
advise. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Mr. Fikadu could advise. They may not have gotten the exact ones, but I don't know if there's anyone close to the answer. I think the most common one that was mentioned is climate change. Yeah, that's the only one that they got correct. So the rest are grazing.
What about diversity of endemic plants? Annunciata has there.
No.
Mr. Fikadu,
so
I don't think.
Yeah,
I think.
maybe I think core is more closest to the answer because it's a climate change is community use, that means over exploitation, and so nutrition use, that means actually both the same meaning, that means nutritional use and the community use. Maybe both are the same answer.
So you give
Oh.
Corlick for this one?
okay, all right.
Okay.
All right. Third question from this is coming from Teodros's presentation. What role do communities play in conserving these endemic medicinal plants? What role do communities play in conserving these endemic medicinal plants? You could give at least 2 answers. What role do communities play in conserving these endemic medicinal plants? Do we have answers?
Caroline is coming.
Okay. Carol, local stewardship, educational outreach. Let's keep them coming.
There's Annunciata has also tried. No.
No, that was before.
Urgent need for
That was
conservation. That was
before.
before. Okay.
Korolik has come through.
Okay.
What is the correct answer, Prem?
Okay. All right. I think Carol had both of them actually, local stewardship and educational outreach, which is actually correct because I have acting as local stewards. Number 2 is raising awareness about the value of these plants, which is educational outreach as well, and then promoting sustainable practices. So I think Carol would take it because she mentioned educational outreach and stewardship, and I have both of those.
Okay. Also considering she answered it first, I don't think Corlick's answer is necessarily wrong. Only that we are taking the first correct answer. So Carol
All right.
2, correct 1. Yeah.
All right. All right. Then from Mr. Fikadu's presentation as well, mention at least 3 strategies that can be used to preserve and conserve Ethiopia's endemic plant species. Mention at least 3 strategies that can be used to preserve and conserve Ethiopia's endemic plant species. The previous question was about how communities can play a part in conserving, but the next question is just asking for 3 strategies that can be used to preserve and conserve Ethiopia's endemic plant species. Anyone?
We
Carol
have
is
an answer
there.
from
Kevin Omolo
Caroline.
is there.
Support conservation. Chris, are we ready to go to the answers, or we give it a few seconds?
I see Kevin Omolo has come through. He has come in strong. He has policies, community engagement, reforestation. But Caroline, even Korolik is there as well. So it's, you can give us the answers now. We see.
Okay, I think Carol came first, and she has,
of course,
quite a number of them that I actually have. So the three, at least some of the strategies that Ricardo mentioned were sustainable management strategies. Number 2, community engagement. Number 3, collaborative approaches. And lastly, focused research and monitoring. So I can see Carol has support conservation, promote sustainable practices, awareness campaigns.
And then Coral Lake has climate change policy implementation, conservation, and advocacy.
Yeah.
Advocacy.
Right. Thank you all for answering. I think Carol came first, and she has quite a number of them, although they are not stated like exactly how Ricardo stated them, but they are what he actually mentioned. Yeah. So we are going to the very last one. This one is not part of the presentation, but feel free to answer. Which African nation is known for successfully resisting colonization? Which African nation is known for successfully resisting colonization? And of course, preserving its independence.
That one is straightforward. Everyone. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Political science.
Thank you so much, Prim and Chris, for taking us through that session. Caroline should tell us how she always gets the answer first.
Yes.
You need to share the notes. Thank you so much,
for the last
1 year. She has been doing it for the past 1 year. I'm waiting for the day someone will beat Caroline and will double the amount.
Kevin also wins.
Yeah.
And then Korolik also wins
tries.
quite sometimes.
He participates. They participate. But winning for the past 1 year, it has been Caroline. She knows. She has won quite an amount of money from us. So thank you so much to Annunciata, to Susan from Korolik, and Kevin Odhiambo. Kevin Omolo, sorry, you have really done well. Thank you for keeping up the fight. And congratulations to Caroline Tomno. Maybe, Prim, you had something you wanted to say?
No, I was just appreciating everyone who participated in the quiz. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much once again, Prim and Chris. You have all done well. Thank you also to Tewodros Kasa and Mr. Ficado. Maybe just to give them, if they have, and if they'd like to give like their special thanks, or maybe they would like to give a comment before we close. I'm not sure that they'll be able to join. Or Mr. Ficado, we can see. Is there anything you'd like to comment about, or you had forgotten to say as we finalize?
Actually, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and reaction with scientists and the journalists. Really, I'm appreciate, and also for Nile co-production. Exactly, I got a lot of thoughts, and also this like exposure on such a presentation. Thank you so much. Really, I appreciate all of you for a nice attention and also reaction. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Tewodros, are you still on?
Okay, yes. Thank you very much, everyone. Especially InfoNine is a very productive team, and they have a very productive knowledge sharing experience. So we have a good partnership for this project. Thank you very much, and thank you for everyone who attended this meeting. And thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you once again, everyone. I have just shared the link to the story in case you'd like to read it. There it is. Like I mentioned earlier, this session was live both on Nilewell and on YouTube. And I'm just posting the links once again on the chat box. Feel free to go through them at whatever time you please. Maybe just to reiterate what was emphasized in our session today, is that we need to support conservation, promote sustainability practices, encourage awareness campaigns, and also take this issue as with a regional approach. I know the issues are different in the specific areas we come from, but you can always borrow a leaf and implement that in the specific areas we come from. To our dear panelists, or rather our speakers of the day, Dr. Fikadu in waiting, and Mr. Teodros Kasa and all the attendees present. We really appreciate your time and your effort to be with us here. Next time, please feel free to invite your colleagues. We shall be inviting another co-production cohort, all from the Nile Basin. A big thank you to our funders for this project, GRS Biodiversity Foundation and ILC Delft. Thank you once again to my colleagues, specifically Primrose, who was in charge of the co-production program. She led it from the inception of the project to the training, the mentorship, and finally now, as we are finalizing with them, sharing with us what they worked on. You all did really well. I really appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Bye. Feel free to unmute and say bye as you go.
Okay, okay, bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Bye.
Wadros, please, a moment. I would like to stay with you and
Okay, okay.
Mr. Ficado. Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.